Boogie, drop that beat.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Talking Out Loud with Miss Talkative. Everything I say is my own opinion, alleged, and strictly entertainment purposes. Remember, I'm just talking out loud. Please like, share, subscribe, comment on the video, let me know what you think. I watched the Funky Dineva interview with Carlos, and I have to say what Funky did to Armon Wiggins it's nothing new. It's becoming more common to Funky Dineva's character because it seems like his friends know that he is outspoken, don't give a care, and he's going to say whatever and don't give a rat's tail behind it. So it seems to me that if they are having issues with someone, either they phone up Funky Dineva to ask for his help to get back at their ops, or either Funky is taking up the responsibility, taking on the task as his own. Because when the Scots had the issue with Melody from Love and Marriage Huntsville, Funky stuck his neck out to start attacking Melody. He started saying he can't respect someone that would try to ruin a couple's marriage. And people already knew that he had to be force-fed information from the Scots, because he kept saying he didn't watch Love and Marriage Huntsville. Because anybody that watches Love and Marriage Huntsville clearly is not siding with the Scots, especially over that whole marriage issue that Tisha kept trying to force or blame on Melody. Tisha didn't want to face the facts, and she needed some type of deflection. Instead of her dealing with her own issues, she was trying to use Melody as a scapegoat. Everybody's seen that. But yet, and still, Funky took it on the task of trying to windmill for the Scots. And just like weeks ago, Kiki from Love and Marriage Huntsville, she passed, and people were saying that the Scots should feel bad for the way that they treated her on and off of Love and Marriage Huntsville. They were really, really mean to Kiki. And even though they want to blame people, Wanda want to say that, oh, we had made up weeks prior to her passing, she was still dogging Kiki on social media up until she found out that Kiki had passed. And then all of a sudden it was nothing, it was all love, here come the tears and stuff like that. And people noticed that, and people called Tisha and called the Scots and Wanda out for they bad behavior towards Kiki. But here comes Funky putting on his cape, taking to his YouTube to attack Kiki after she passed. He didn't care. He was speaking, he spoke not one kind word towards Kiki. And in my opinion, it was to save the Scots, regardless if they asked him to do it or not. And the fact that none of them came out to speak on what Funky said, it speaks to the point of they told him to do it. They asked for the favor. And I don't believe that it's beneath the Scots to do that. The Scots they play dirty, and then they want to call files. But so now Funky is doing interviews about Fox Soul, intentionally trying to sun Arman by saying he's childish and he needs to grow up. This all fits Funky's whole pattern that he's been doing for a while. I mean, one would have thought that Funky choosing to walk away from Fox Soul for whatever reason, whether it was money issues, contract issues, or him not being added on the insurance, that whatever the reason, if something, it seems like he would have chose to stay out of Fox Soul's business as well, especially since he was ranting about not needing Fox Soul and he can make the same money or more on his own platform. So why continue to be in Fox Soul business? Just go on about yours and leave Fox Soul alone. It's like, why continue to stay in the mix behind the scenes? Because, Funky, it seems like Funky is the perfect example of, I want you to succeed, I want you to do good, but never better than me. And it seems like that's what it was. He did not want, he didn't want Fox Soul to pass him up. He wanted, what he said. He wanted to teach Fox Soul a lesson. Regardless of Funky saying he wanted Fox Soul to win, he saying that he wanted the best for Fox Soul. I don't think he did. I really don't. Because he went on to say that he started going live the same time as Fox Soul on purpose to teach them a lesson and to make a point of them needing him. But how you try to teach them a lesson, but you want them to win at the same time? The math ain't mathing. He started going live. I mean, I'm sorry, but for Funky to take his issues with Fox Soul out on Armon and call him childish while he was clearly, Funky himself, he was clearly displaying childish behavior, but to put it off on Armon, I feel as though that's for one reason, because he was windmilling for his friend Al. It's no other explanation. It's like, by going live and helping Al behind the scenes to keep the drama up between his cast, it shows that Funky is immature as well, but he want to call, and I'm not even going to say Armon is childish, because my thing is, Armon is Armon. He has not changed from who he is. His character has not wavered. His sense of humor, everything, it has not changed. It didn't change from him being on his own platform, and it didn't to him getting on Fox Soul. So I don't understand, where was the childish behavior? I believe that Funky Dineva was trying to son Armon. Funky said he spoke to Armon and gave him the lay of the land prior to him being cast, and not one time did he say he told Armon that he was childish or anything. So I don't know why he would get on social media or go on Carlos' platform to try to call him out about it. Because if you could talk to him once, then you could talk to him again. Why did you need Carlos to for you to come out and say, oh, he's childish? I feel as though that's foul. Armon stated that he and Funky would talk, and so that's why I feel as though it was intentional what Funky was doing on Carlos' podcast. Because if if Armon and Funky would speak, and Armon said that he was telling Funky what was going on at Fox Soul, but apparently Armon wasn't the only person, because Al was already telling Funky what was going on, and I guess they were trying to use Armon as the scapegoat. But because if he wasn't, why Funky didn't tell Armon none of his feelings? Why he didn't let him know when he noticed that Armon had started using childish behavior? That just tells me, because he didn't, that he was actually rallying or windmilling for Al, and Armon just didn't know nothing about it. They faking like they friends. Al going out to party with Armon, and all along, him and Funky trying to bring him down. It's like, in the point where Funky says Armon is childish, but then stated that Al just loves to drink and party and have fun. But Al is older than Armon. So how is it only childish for Armon, but not for Al? I don't get that. Or could it just be that both people like to have a good time? Funky accused Armon of being a major factor for the cancellation of Foxo. And in my opinion, that was nothing more than to quiet the noise of the people that was saying that was actually blaming Al, which majority of the people feel it was his fault, because after hearing Funky talk about it, Armon talk about it, and Claudia speak about it, it seems as if Armon was a threat to both Funky and Al. And he was a threat to Al because the people were digging Armon, and Armon had gotten his own segment on Foxo, and it seems that Al was boring. He was boring the people out. The people just wasn't feeling him. But instead of him trying to find his own lane, he decided to try to mess with Armon. But it was all good. Armon was all good when they thought that Armon was going to help them get rid of Claudia. But when Armon and Claudia became friends, Armon became the ops by default, because it was all along for, I think the plot all along was for them to get rid of Claudia and Funky be asked back, where he felt as though him and Al could be hosting Foxhole together. But I believe Funky felt the wrath of Armon, because even though Funky was trying to sabotage Foxhole by going live and trying to and helping Al behind the scenes, Armon was still becoming more and more popular with the viewers of Foxhole. And Funky was learning that, by Armon becoming more popular, Funky was learning that he too can be replaced. And it was just a matter of time that Armon, had Foxhole continued to stay on air, I believe that Armon would have proven to be a heavy hitter in the game, just like Funky is. And Funky, I believe if Foxhole had stayed on the air, and Armon would have proven him, to me, he did prove himself. Because he didn't, I actually like Armon on Fox Soul, despite what anybody says. But I believe that within time, he could have really been, probably bigger than Funky, because he didn't seem to be the backstabbing, sneaky, underhanded person. And I think that because Funky was doing just that, I believe, because if you have to do all these antics to try to bring somebody down, then that just proves that you're not actually who you think you are. And I believe with Armand becoming popular, I think that was a crush to Funky's ego. And that's why he blamed Armand for the cancellation, because of selfish reasons and to save his friend's character. But in reality, if Funky really cared about his friend Al, he would have given him the advice that he's trying to now throw shade. He's trying to call Armand out for, and throwing shades, and giving these backhand compliments. I believe all of that should have been for Al. Being childish. Why are you running to me, calling me about some? You're on air for an hour. You making all this money to be on air for an hour. It's not like you have to sit next to him. You just have to show up on social media with this man for an hour, and you can't do that. Get off my phone. So Funky did Al a disservice. Yeah, they friends and you was doing his dirty work, but you also did him a disservice, because now he's out of a job. So I feel as though Funky trying to ruin Armand's reputation, because he and Al was in cahoots all along, and it actually backfired on Al, because Armand still have his platform, but Al lost big time. And I believe that now Funky is doing interviews with Carlos just to try to clear it up. That's just my opinion. I'm just talking out loud. Please like, share, subscribe, comment on the video. Let me know what you think.